Tonight's big stories. Senators are flagging potential security threats to the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines with China's minority stake in the grid regulator. With this, calls for the government to take back control of the NGCP are now being pushed. Senators are also zeroing in on alleged corruption at the National Irrigation Administration. We'll get the side of the NIA Acting Administrator Eduardo Guillen later on in the program.
The NBI has filed multiple charges of murder and frustrated murder against suspended Congressman Arnie Teves over the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo. Over at the lower house, lawmakers are set to decide whether Teves will also face expulsion. Congressman Teves will be joining us later in the show to discuss these latest developments.
Happy to be proven wrong. That's what Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas Chairman Emeritus Manny V. Pangilinan had to say about Gilas Pilipinas' vengeful win against host Cambodia at the 32nd Southeast Asian Games. More on that later in the program.
Welcome to the big story. I'm Gretchen Ho.
I'm Chicky Verhel.
And I'm Sean Yao.
Ladies,
ilang araw na. Wednesday na.
tama.
Power pa rin. Nag-uusapan natin.
It's not just about outages but also about power supply. Kanina napag-usapan yung NGCP, and to just give context kung gaano kahalaga yung role nila. They are the ones balancing supply and demand across the power grid from Luzon to Mindanao.
Not only
So,
that, Gretch,
napakahalaga
they
nun.
are the power grid. So this power grid, it can of course, yung mga nakikita niyong Iron Man, pag nasa nag-out of town tayo, NGCP yon. Di lang yun, actually broadband pwede ring padaanin sa mga transmission lines nila. So ganun kalaki, no, yung responsibilidad ng NGCP sa atin. Alright, let's take a deeper dive into these security issues. Gretch, ano nga ba ang pinagkakaabalahan ng mga senators natin right
since
now?
they are the ones in charge of maintenance, repair, also restoration responsibilities in terms of the power grid, sinasabi nila baka nga daw yung China kaya ma-remotely access itong transmission grid na ito. And that is because China owns about 40% of the NGCP, specifically the state grid of China. And in today's hearing, Senator Raffy pulled out results of a National Security Council inspection citing vulnerability in the national grid cybersecurity. Aside from this, senators also questioned why 95% of NGCP's income allegedly goes to dividends for shareholders.
Nandun talaga yung clear and present danger. Dahil nga po, just imagine yung ating national grid ang may control, kung tutusin, ay ibang bansa. And just imagine, meron naman tayong alitan ngayon, sigalot sa pagitan ng China at Pilipinas, na pwede nilang gawan tayo ng kalokohan kung gugustuhin nila.
Hindi po madaling sabihin na hindi national security threat na may ibang bansa na state-owned enterprise na may obligasyon mangolekta ng impormasyon o intelligence at ibigay sa kanilang gobyerno sa Beijing.
So, ano naman kaya ang sagot ng NGCP dito? Our News 5 correspondent, Man Los Baños, joins us for those updates. Man, what do you have?
Yes, Sean, talagang nasabon itong mga tauhan at pamunuan ng NGCP sa pagdinig ng Senado kanina. Pero giit nila, hindi raw posible yung remote access para mapakialaman o mamanipula yung ating mga transmission lines dahil puro naman daw Pilipino yung mga nagtatrabaho sa kanilang pasilidad. With regard to the cybersecurity issue, the NGCP said they're already coordinating with the National Security Council. Now, Sean, when it comes to the issue of government taking over control of NGCP, sabi ng National Transmission Corporation or Transco, ready sila na i-operate itong ating mga transmission lines if ever dumating yung panahon na ma-revoke yung prangkisa ng NGCP. Sean?
Right, maraming salamat, Man Los Baños.
Medyo mainit-init yung usapin ngayon sa Senado. Punta naman tayo sa isa pang issue that was discussed in the Senate today. Senator Raffy Tulfo is also seeking a Senate Blue Ribbon Committee investigation into the alleged corruption in the National Irrigation Administration. Well, Tulfo said that there was a 121 billion peso allocated budget for NIA from 2019 to 2022. However, there are allegedly infrastructure projects that have yet to be completed and some construction that have yet to start even with notices to proceed. The senator then mentioned the alleged awarding of contracts that did not undergo proper public bidding. Apart from failed and uncompleted projects, Tulfo said NIA also has ghost projects in Mindanao which amount to around 890 million pesos. Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri meanwhile said the Senate must study if these projects were implemented and how they were implemented before they tackle the national budget for 2024.
There appears to be a wide-scale corruption scheme that has persisted for far too long. Kung bakit hindi pa ito naimbestigahan at kung bakit wala pang nananagot sa pagsunog ng pera ng bayan o pagwaldas ng pera ng bayan ay kailangan din pagtuunan ng pansin.
Kung tama po ang pinapakita mong mga ebidensya dito sa screen na 2015 na ang inumpisa yung project niyan at hindi pa natatapos, 10% lamang ang accomplishment, sila po'y dapat makulong at dapat may parusahan.
Let's hear the side of the National Irrigation Administration on this matter. We have live with us via Zoom, Eduardo Gilian, Acting Administrator of the NIA. Good evening.
Hi, good evening po. Magandang
Yes.
gabi po sa ating lahat.
Magandang gabi po. Si Senator Tulfo mentioned the alleged warning of contracts that did not undergo public bidding. Merong mga blacklisted na nabigyan ng projects, merong mga kumpanya na or contractors na known to not be completing their projects pero nabigyan ng proyekto. What do you have to say about this po?
Well, sa pagkakaalam ko po, hindi naman ho pwedeng i-award yung isang contract nang hindi ho mag-undergo ng public bidding. Ano po? And of course, ang sistema po dyan, pagka may mga blacklisted po ng contractors, ay hindi na ho talaga dapat ho makakuha ng project.
Alright, Mr. Ed, sabi nga ni Senator Tulfo na may ghost projects din daw in Mindanao amounting to almost 900 million pesos. Ngayon, itong specific projects na to sa Mindanao, alam ba natin kung ano-ano ito at anong nangyari sa kanila?
Yes po. In fact, ma'am, ganito po, pagpasok ko po sa NIA noong December, humingi po ako ng inventory ng lahat ng projects ng NIA and of course yung mga status ng mga projects. So prior pa lamang po na itong expose ni Senator Tulfo, meron na po tayong mga data kung ano po yung mga delayed implementation, ano po yung mga... So yung mga delayed po naman, nag-ask po kami ng catch-up plan nila, mga bawat contractors.
So
And
wala
of
pong
course,
sir, wala po kayong nakitang ghost project sa pagkakaalam ninyo, sa pagkikilatis ninyo sa mga papeles, sa mga contracts at mga awarded or bidded out projects? Wala naman pong anomalya?
as per contract, wala naman pong ghost project. Pero maganda rin po itong expose ni Senator Tulfo para mabigyan pansin po rin natin yung mga specific projects po na binanggit po niya.
Opo, sinasabi po kasi niya doon na meron daw mga projects na 5 years na raw, hindi pa nakukumpleto. And then meron din nga po yung mga fabricated reports. Meron daw 28 projects that are anomalous. Ay, kayo po, napalitan niyo po si Sir Benny Antiporda just last year. Pagpasok niyo po, meron po ba kayong mga ikinagulat? Ano po yung nakita niyo po doon sa mga naipasa po sa inyong proyekto?
Ma'am, ganito po. Gusto ko lang hong ipaliwanag yung proseso po ng project sa NIA and of course sa other agencies po. Meron kasi yung tinatawag natin preparatory work. So yung una po kasi may pre-FS. Tinitignan saan ba pwedeng ilagay yung project. So it takes time na po yun. And then yung tinatawag nilang feasibility study. Pagkatapos po yung feasibility study, andyan na naman po yung detail engineering. And after po ang detail engineering po, meron na po yung acquisition ng right of way. So hindi po agad-agad po talaga na-implement yung project. It takes time po talaga. And then in fact, yung mga ibang nabanggit po ng mga projects doon ay puro bidding pa lang po yung mga yon. So dapat po rin natin maintindihan, ma'am, na pag yung bago mag-proceed sa isang proyekto, marami pong proseso pong dinadaanan yan. Yung mga acquisition ng mga right of way, yung mga permits. So, ganoon po. Yun ho kasi yung cases ng iba na nabanggit sa expose.
Alright, Sir Ed, naiintindihan po namin na December lang kayo nag-start dyan, pero meron ngang parating na El Nino. As the recently appointed NIA or NIA Administrator, ano po ang plano natin para po unahan natin yung pagdating ng tagtuyot?
Well, ma'am, marami po, may plano na po kami dyan in place. In fact, meron kaming short-term, medium-term, and long-term program. Yung short-term program po natin, ma'am, ito po yung, alam niyo po kasi sa NIA, meron kami sinatawag na alternate wet and dry system. Ano po? So, halimbawa, nakita namin, may calendar planning po kami. Nakita po namin na may kakulangan ng tubig. Ini-implement po natin yon ng alternate wetting and drying system. Nakakapagpa-additional irrigation po kami ng another around 20%. Pero ang maganda po ngayon, ma'am, ang bilin ng Pangulo po sa atin, may team na po ang ating approach. Convergence na po yung ating approach yan sa itong problema na ito. So, ibig sabihin ho, ma'am, lahat ng stakeholders, national government agencies, may kanya-kanya na po na contribution. Like, ano ba po ma'am, itong DA ngayon, sabihin na natin na may kakulangan ng mapatubigan. So, tumutulong po ang DA ngayon. Ina-identify namin yung mga areas na kung saan pwede kami maglagay ng mga high-yielding crops para humabawi natin yung ating output. Ano po? So, yun pong ginagawa namin. At may mga areas din po na, of course, halimbawa, yung mga na-identify namin na wala na talagang tubig, na hindi mapatubigan, andyan din po yung DSWD, andyan din po yung DOLE para tumulong. Again, whole of nation approach po yung ating sistema ngayon, ma'am. Lahat tulungan.
Okay, sir, nabanggit niyo po kanina na meron pong public bidding na nangyari for the projects. Is this, do you have this in your records?
Yes, ma'am. Wala hong project na award na wala hong public bidding. For sure po yan.
All right, and with the expose of Senator Tulfo, what is the agency planning on looking into this?
Ma'am, again bago pa ho yung expose ni Senator Tulfo, ma'am, ay tinignan na po natin itong mga to. Meron na po kaming inventory. And of course, salamat din po sa tulong ng ating senador. Ano po, ay in-encourage naman po namin lahat ng stakeholders na tumulong po sa pag-monitor ng mga proyekto ng NIA, para ho mas maganda po yung implementation natin. Yung mga irrigators association po natin, pag umiikot po ako sa mga regional offices, yun po yung appeal ko sa kanila na tayo lahat ay magmatsyag, sabi ko sa kanila, para mas maganda po yung implementation ng project. At kinakausap po namin yung mga contractors, ma'am, na ang i-employ nila sa construction ay yung mga mismong IAs na para may malasakit sa project at mas mabilis yung implementation. So, sana ho, talagang dapat tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-monitor ng lahat. Hindi lang siya NIA, but lahat ho ng infrastructure projects natin.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for joining us, NIA Acting Administrator Eduardo Guillen.
Up next, animal rights activists gathered across the UK to stage a vigil in protest for 2 dogs shot dead by Met officers as they accused police of murdering the pets. More on that when the big story returns. Stay with us. You're still watching The Big Story here on One News.
The Justice Department has filed murder charges against suspended Congressman Arnie Teves 2 months after the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo. Multiple counts of murder, multiple counts of frustrated murder, and multiple counts of attempted murder were filed by the NBI against Teves this afternoon in relation to the Degamo slay. Teves has been tagged as the mastermind in the killing of Degamo last March 14. Around 11 suspects are currently under the custody of the NBI, but the Justice Department says some of them have started to refuse to cooperate in the investigation. The filing of charges was supposed to be done last Monday, but it was delayed after some witnesses expressed intent to recant their statements. Despite this, Remulla remains confident that there is enough evidence to prove Teves's guilt.
Ano pa ang epekto ng recantation doon sa kaso ni...
Not much. I think that when these people surrendered, the circumstances of their surrender and their statements, the statements they made after their surrender, will tell you the truth about what happened and what transpired on March 4, 2023.
No, fake news.
Fake news daw, sabi ni Attorney Ferdinand Topacio
Pero
kanina.
ready na ba kayo? So, it could mean anything really. I mean, pwedeng ina-address si Congressman Teves, pwedeng baka mali lang yung napindot niya. I mean,
Well, Attorney
Handa na
was
ba
saying a
ang-
while ago that this has become such a public issue. Sabi nga nila parang trial by publicity. Yun ang sinasabi ng kampo ni
Congressman
Teves.
Teves.
Oo. We did speak with the late governor's wife kanina, no, si Mayor
Degamo.
Janice Degamo. Sabi niya ay she doesn't think Teves is gonna come home, and she said na tuloy pa rin daw, they're talking with Congress and saying na talagang they want him expelled, and there are other moves or actions that they want Congress to be done when it comes to the
let's not
Teves
forget
issue.
that he is a congressman.
He is, right? But exactly that. What happens now that charges have been filed against Congressman Teves? May magbabago ba? Marlene Alcaida tells us more.
Sean, after the filing of charges, Teves will be subpoenaed or asked to appear before the prosecution panel. As the accused, Teves is expected to file a counter affidavit, which means he has to come back home and personally file it. Justice Secretary Remulla says that if Teves is still not in the country once the case reaches the court and a warrant of arrest has been released, he will be considered a fugitive from justice. Teves is also facing 2 more cases under the DOJ. One is in relation to the illegal firearms and explosives, and the other one is about the 2019 killings in Negros Oriental. Remulla says they are also under the process of designating Teves as a terrorist. Sean?
Thanks for that, Marlene Alcaida. Right, still on Congressman Arnie Teves, who is, of course, still a congressman, although he is suspended. Well, it appears that there's a strong possibility, girls, that he might be expelled if he fails to return to the Philippines.
Uy.
Parang yung suspension niya is set to end on May 22.
Yeah.
That's on this coming
Monday.
The
Monday.
60-day suspension, yes.
And already, the lower house, Congress is already discussing kung i-expel pa sila, especially nung House Ethics Committee, right? And nagsalita na rin kanina yung House Secretary General na pagbobotohan nga daw ito ng Congress. Pero, syempre, kailangan muna natin hantayin na mag-lapse.
Kasi walang precedent kasi ito, di ba? This whole
Mm-hmm.
Teves case. So,
Parang
kaya,
nakakatawa kasi parang imbis na yung kaso, ang binabantayan natin ngayon, yung hide and seek. No?
Totoo
ni
ba?
Congressman
Parang scavenger
Teves.
hunt.
But how big of a possibility is it that Congressman Teves will get expelled?
Ito nga, Gretch Noel, once the suspension period is over, the House Committee on Ethics and Privileges will be discussing possible actions against Congressman Teves. And one of these options that they're considering is him being expelled, but House Secretary General Reginald Velasco says it is the members of the House that will ultimately decide on Teves's fate. The Committee on Ethics will be releasing a recommendation which will be voted on at the plenary. So 2/3 of the members must vote in favor of this recommendation for it to take effect. Recommendations may also be amended at the plenary before the voting begins.
We recommended last time the suspension, the members can lower the sanctions. Now, again, kahit mag-recommend din kami dito of possible another suspension dahil may continuing violations. So still the members of the House can amend that and make that into an expulsion. On that thing, we cannot advance the statement right now.
When are we expecting the decision of the Ethics Committee to be released? Let's get the answer from Marian Enriquez. Marian?
Yes, Reg, the House Ethics Committee is eyeing to pass their recommendation before the Congress goes on break on June 2. Committee Chairman Filimon Espares says their first meeting on Teves' fate is set on May 23, a day after his 60-day suspension lapses. Espares adds that heavier sanctions may be placed now that Teves sought asylum from Timor-Leste, which was eventually denied. Reg.
Thank you for that, Marian Enriquez. And in other news, animal rights activists and pet owners continue to call for justice over the death of 2 dogs in London. The dogs Marshall and Millions were shot dead by Metropolitan Police last week for allegedly mauling a woman and showing aggression to the police officers. The 2 Staffordshire Bull Terriers belong to a homeless man, Louis Turnbull, who was arrested and is now being charged for failing to keep his pets under control. Some witnesses are saying, though, that the woman just got caught in the dog's leash and was not seriously injured. Several petitions calling for justice for Marshall and Millions have been posted, while protests and vigils are being held across the UK.
Ang sakit. Mawalan ng dalawang dogs. Tapos homeless person ka pa.
Being a pet owner, I mean, what was your assessment? What is your assessment over what happened?
I wouldn't know. I mean, I did not see. Ang hirap rin sabihin. I mean, some dogs can be aggressive, pero parang ang hirap nung babarilin mo agad before determining ano ba talaga yung
Parang naalala ko dito yung tokhang, ano?
Oh.
My God.
Tokhang yung mga dogs ng Met Police.
It's not funny though, but yeah, parang ganon.
All right, we're going to go on a quick break. But right after that, SBP Chairman Emeritus Manny V. Pangilinan tells One News that he is happy to be proven wrong after Gilas Pilipinas reclaimed the SEA Games basketball gold. The details when we return. Keep it here on One News.
You're still watching the big story here on One News. What else do we have tonight, girls?
Well, ito nga, napag-uusapan natin kagabi, the win of Gilas and the redemption arc of our team and Coach Chot Reyes.
Yun.
And this time, we heard nothing but good words from Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas President Manny V. Pangilinan. In an interview on Thought Leaders with Cathy Yang, MVP said he told Gilas Pilipinas coach Chot Reyes that he was very happy to be proven wrong after their win over host Cambodia in the finals of the 32nd Southeast Asian Games. If you guys recall, MVP previously took to Twitter to voice out his displeasure over Gilas' defeat to Cambodia in the group stage, which he called a disgraceful game. But of course, that all changed when Gilas got its revenge in the final, beating Cambodia 80-69. Pangilinan also said Gilas' victory gave him a tremendous feeling of relief. Let's hear all about that.
It's a tremendous feeling of relief, and of course, a very happy, for Gilas and for the country. And it was a huge job that Gilas did, a magnificent one, especially after the defeat from Cambodia in their first game. No? So kudos to them and to the coaching staff, and congratulate the Chot, and send my warm regards to Coach Tim and Coach Jong for steering the team to this championship.
Right, allow me to do a quick flashback. We were talking about the case of Congressman, or the charges filed against Congressman Arnie Teves before the break, and now let's hear it from Congressman Teves himself. He joins us now over the phone, or over Zoom, I believe. Hello, welcome to the big story, Kong Arnie. Kong Arnie, babalik ka na ba ngayon na lumabas na tong multiple charges that have been filed against you today?
Wala namang kaso sa korte, meron ba?
The NBI has filed the murder charges sa DOJ po.
Korte ba yung DOJ?
The Department of Justice.
Hindi korte yun.
So ibig sabihin,
Kanina ko nga lang nalaman na wala palang kaso sa korte.
wala ring
Ano na namang
arrest
fake
warrant.
news yung nilalabas nila?
Opo,
Hello?
Opo. Ano po ba magpapabalik sa inyo sa Pilipinas?
When I feel, di ba I said, all I ask is a semblance of fairness. Not even full fairness. Semblance of fairness lang.
Yun nga lang po, parang nagiging sabi nga po ni Attorney Ferdinand Topacio this morning, it has become a trial by publicity. Paano po makaklaro po kaya yun kung wala po kayo dito?
Ganito, bakit hindi makaklaro? Pwede naman ako magsalita sa Zoom. Ganito na lang, hindi nyo ba napansin? Gustong-gusto nila yung katawan ko since 2 months ago. Why do they want my body so much? Ano bang meron sa katawan ko na gustong-gusto nila? Bonjing naman, Boying has been saying na umuwi ka to face the charges since 2 months ago. Walang charges, sabay pinapauwi ako. Para ke, di ba? What for?
Congressman,
Why do you want my body so much?
Kung Arnie, ganito na lang. Okay, so ang una niyong sinabi is, may kaso ba? Sa korte ba nila final? What if meron nga mag-file sa korte? Uuwi ba kayo once na may case, totoong kaso, na final
That's
sa
not
korte?
the barometer of my going home. The barometer of my going home is a semblance of fairness. Why will I get myself killed to the detriment of my family, my supporters, my constituents, and the rest of the country?
Sir, even with the
Para lang
assurance...
sa kanilang kasikatan, magpapakamatay ako? No.
Opo, even with the assurance of the House, also the President, that you will be protected and that you will be secure. Hindi po kayo tiwala doon?
Sino magbabantay sa akin? Police? Army? Na appointed nila? Tanong ko sa inyo, sinong nagbantay kay Digamo? Sana siya ngayon?
Alright. Kung Arnie, ibahin lang natin ng slight, itong topic. Of course, pinag-uusapan na rin today, nung House Ethics Committee na, yun nga, maglalapse na po yung suspension niya sa Monday, tapos pag-uusapan na raw nila na ma-expel ka. Ano pong reaksyon niyo dito? At ito po ba ay, is it still a big deal to you at this point in time?
My life is more important. Ganito na lang. Why will they expel me? In fact, I don't even understand why they suspended me. I was absent for 13 days. And I even filed for an extension of my leave. They never accepted it. Sabi ko nga, di ba, tingnan natin yung attendance ng 17th, 18th, and 19th Congress. Baka marami pa dyan, mas marami pang absence sa akin. Bakit ako lang yung na-sanction? Ano ibig sabihin nun? Di political persecution, di ba? Simple lang eh. Kilala nyo na ako, ma'am. Simpleng tao lang ako at diretso ako magsalita.
Alright, ganito na lang, no, Kong. Sabi niyo po, of course, your life is
Yes.
more important. I totally understand and I agree with you. Why exactly do you think your life is in danger? Moreover, who do you think it is in danger from?
Ganito na lang. Hindi kasi ako pwede magturo dito dahil malalaipin ako. Kahit A1 yung informasyon ko. Di ba, matagal na ako nagsabi, i-read yung bahay ko, ano nangyari. Nagkatotohanan, di ba? Ngayon, may info ako na babarilin ako. Alam nga naman, hintayin ko ba maging totohanan? Kawawa naman ako, di ba? Hindi naman pwede yun. And ever since you've known me, ever since we've spoke to one another, have you ever heard me say BS?
Yes.
Ako nga lang yung umami na dati akong addict, di ba? Sa Kongreso. Ako na yung isa sa pinakamakatotohanan ng tao makakausap niyo.
Two-prong question po, Kong, no? You have been singing the same song since day one. Gusto nyo po ng semblance
Yes.
of fairness, number one. Number two is takot
Yes.
po kayo for your life, no? So,
Yes, correct.
babalik po ba kayo dito? May plans po ba kayong bumalik dito sa Pilipinas?
Yeah, of course. Di ba, as I said, I miss the Philippines.
Oo,
I
sir.
miss the birds in my house. I miss my house. I miss my family. But of course, I could not risk my life.
Congressman, sabi po nila, nasa East Timor daw po kayo. Tama po ba? Nasaan po ba kayo?
I will neither confirm nor deny that.
Alright, okay.
Sa akin na lang po yun.
Okay,
We
on
wish,
that.
no, we wish, honestly, we wish safety upon your life. Thank you so much for joining us and
Thank
for your
you.
time
Thank you sa
tonight.
inyo, ha?
Negros-
Sorry pala, na-late ako kanina. May interview pa ako sa isang channel, eh. At tagal na tapos. Sorry
Wala
sa
pong
inyo,
problema
ha?
ko.
Sorry talaga.
Oo, maraming salamat po. Negros
Yeah.
Oriental Congressman Arnie Teves answering our questions tonight.
And before we go, we have tonight's big picture. Senator Robin Padilla, or Robin Hood Padilla, that's what he likes to be called, legitimizing his status as the Senate's Mr. Suave. Padilla was seen grooming his mustache, or combing his mustache, in yesterday's Senate hearing. Props to Senator Raffy Tulfo for staying in the zone. What about you? We'd love to know your thoughts. If you have questions, or not questions, if you have caption ideas for this, leave them in the comments. We'll be sure to check them out.
Sinusuklay pala yun, ano?
Ako rin nagulat ako. Tsaka nagulat ako na parang, yes, sinashampoo siya. Kasi nakita ko yung product sa store. Pero nagulat ako na, ang laki pala ng suklay, parang pang hair lang. Alright, wala na tayong oras. That's it from us tonight.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.
This has been The Big Story. Thank you and good night.